This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on lrodvinetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on lrodvinetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to lrodvinetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's episode of Thirsty Topics. Thirsty Topics is a weekly show that me and Merle do. We talk about, trending topics that include pop culture, social media, the news. And being that there's so much craziness going on in the world, we will never run out of things to talk about.
That's true.
I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Meryl Climo. I'm the happy co-host of Lawrence. I'm chronically online and love to scroll TikTok and love to then bring it here and talk about it with all of you guys. And I do, I'm in Burbank, California, and I am a podcaster and stand-up comedian and copywriter and all those fun things.
Nice. And of course, you can watch this. You can listen to this on all the major podcasting networks, and you can also watch us on lrodtvnetwork.com, which is my streaming channel. So let's go ahead and get started. How's it going, Meryl?
It's really good. Spring is still here. Coachella's over, which I'm sad about, even though I didn't go. But it's still like, I don't know, it just feels a certain way when it's Coachella time in Southern California.
I know Coachella is a big thing. In fact, they've started talking about it on the news here. So it's starting to make its way across the United States, I guess, right?
Good, as it should. How are you doing?
I am doing great. Got some work done to the house. Enjoyed a nice warm weekend. Now it's cold again. So hopefully within the next month, we start getting some consistently warm weather.
Yeah.
How about you?
Oh my gosh, it's warm here. We just went to a baseball game. I hope I don't get anyone in trouble by saying this, but we went to a game to see a team. I won't say exactly what stadium it was, but it was a team that we like, and my boyfriend bought tickets for like the very, very upper level, like the 500s, and that is just like a heck no for me. I will not sit up there because of the height. Not because I'm too fancy or prissy or anything, but because of the actual height. Like I hate heights. So I had a complete freak out, and then the ushers were really nice, and they let us sit down in like the nice seats. So this is just a nice inspiration for anyone that if you like throw a fit, that you don't have to do what you want to do, and then just throw a fit, and then you'll end up getting what you want.
Nice. That was a very nice one.
Exactly. The ushers were so nice. I feel like, because usually I think about security guards with concerts, and I know they're just trying their best too, but I feel like I'm used to like people just kind of saying no, and they're rough and gruff. But I felt like at baseball stadiums that the like little retired sweet ushers are so nice, and they're always so helpful.
Very nice. Very nice. Well, without saying the team, did they win?
They did. They won by 1, and I actually paid attention, even though I did go to get something to eat right at like the best moment when they had home runs and everything, but it was okay.
Didn't really care, huh?
Exactly. I didn't really care.
Well, we got some very interesting things to talk about today.
Yeah.
So I'm going to start off with this interesting one here, and this is actually a pretty good one. FAA have started recruiting gamers. So the FAA is launching a targeted recruitment campaign to hire 8,000 air traffic controllers by tapping into the gaming community. Now, targeting individuals with skills in spatial awareness, multitasking, and high stress decision making, the initiative aims to bridge a critical staffing shortage of 3,500 controllers. The campaign, which includes YouTube aids, highlights high paying long term career opportunities. So, in case people are interested, the requirements, the applicants must be a U.S. citizen, fluent in English, and generally under 31 years old. Compensation, this position pays up to 155,000. And the process is the campaign has begun and deemed highly successful with thousands of applicants in the first few hours. Now, you know what's kind of funny about this, Meryl, is you remember how you hear parents yell at your kids, stop wasting time on those games. You're not going to do
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I can kind of see the kids kind of going, hey, mom, dad, remember when you said this would be a waste of my time?
Exactly. I already know too, like growing up, I mean, you probably had the same thing too, where I would love Mario, like Nintendo, Mario
Mm-hmm.
World 1 and 3, but I should not be in the FAA because I feel like whenever I would lose, I would just like toss my controller across the room. And so I already showed that I don't have what it has, but I think this is really interesting and like, why not, I guess, apply those skills? But to me, it's so vastly different that you really have to go through more, obviously more training. Like, I don't know if it's the same exact skills, and I know we talked about, the article mentioned like dexterity and coordination and everything, but to me, like the gamers that I've met or I know, I can't really see them like being a air traffic controller. But I mean, why not start, how you said, start kids young, and if they're really interested in that type of motor skill and that type of pastime, then why not get them interested?
That is true. And there are some valuable things from gamers because they're dedicated. Obviously, there's probably certain skill sets that transfer over,
Mm-hmm.
and I commend the FAA for recognizing that. So, it's becoming more and more of a digital age now. With AI and everything else, it's really not a total surprise. I think it's actually pretty incredible that they thought this way.
Me too. I love to think hearing when like, and not to call out just men, but it's been my men friends who are like, "Oh yeah, if a plane went down, I would know what to do because I totally play like video games." But I mean, I think that's happened before. Honestly, I think I've heard of stories where like a private plane needed help and someone really did like do simulations and they knew what they were doing. So from video games, so they at least knew how to like steady the plane again. Maybe I'm just making that up, but.
There was a story, I want to say it was a year or two ago. I have to take a look, where a gentleman who was having some issues actually stole a plane and crashed it. Um,
Oh yeah, that was so
and
sad. That was crazy.
he basically told him that he's good. He has um, an airline or a plane simulator at home, so I'm good. And he actually flew the plane, did some stunts in the plane. Luckily, no one's on the plane but him, and he crashed the plane. So
I know. Listening to those tapes are, I'm sure most of us have heard that. It's so sad because he like, you could tell he was troubled. And then he did like a barrel roll, or he did something that they were like genuinely impressed by, but obviously it had a very sad ending. I wish they had told him like, hey, you're not going to get in trouble if you just land the plane. I'm sure they did. I'm sure they didn't say like you're screwed anyway, but I think he knew that he was going to be in trouble, so he just carried out his sad mission. But yeah, very interesting.
yeah, that's true. And it's no secret that the military uses certain games in their training.
Mm-hmm.
So video games actually have come a long way from the days of Atari and all the other simple games out there. So
Yeah, I think so too. I just play a coin game where I like match certain things, and I don't think that's going to translate into landing planes anytime soon, but
hey, these days you never know.
exactly, you never know. Well, my first one, I thought this was so fun. I mean, obviously, I've mentioned Coachella 8,000 times, but we just had a weekend too, and it's well known that weekend one is kind of for like the influencers and just the whatevers, and weekend two is more for the fans. And I thought the artists really showed up for this past weekend, and I just thought like music wise and energy wise, this weekend of Coachella was so much better. I watched it. I thought the live stream, they did such a great job live streaming all the different stages, and like I don't know, it just felt so cool to just sit and watch it. One of the favorite moments of this past weekend of Coachella that I really liked was when Sabrina Carpenter welcomed Madonna to the stage. And like I had heard rumblings that was going to happen, but it's like you never know. You know, you hear all these rumors and a lot of them turn out they're not true. But Sabrina has like a moment in her set where she's always like, how about this position? And she always does like a new, different, funny position. And so this time she said, how about this position? And all of a sudden the lights went off, and then they started doing like Madonna's Vogue. And then all of a sudden Madonna rose from the risers. And it was just like, I'm sure all of us in the ages like 32 to 55 were like, whoa. So I thought that was so cool. Madonna did a new song with her, and then they did like a prayer together. And I just thought that was amazing. A little the critic inside of me, Madonna did give like a pretty long talk about astrology and the planetary forces and all this kind of stuff. I think it could have been pared down a little bit. Like to me, like I love hearing Madonna talk. I think she's funny, but it was a little long-winded and like a little awkward for doing music. But you know, she had stuff to say, and it's Madonna, so we're lucky to have her. But I thought that was just an insane moment and really, really cool.
Yeah, it sounded like it was a really, really nice performance still, just by the way you.
Yeah. It was. Both of them like looked great and sounded great. And like Madonna seemed very happy for Sabrina to shine and vice versa. So, but you can tell, maybe I'm just making this all, I would love to hear what people think, but like when Madonna was talking on and on, you could hear Sabrina was smiling, but you could tell she's like, okay, wrap it up, you know, because like they have strict timelines at these festivals. And if you're
Yeah.
like a minute late, you get fined, you get, you know, there's like noise ordinances and stuff. So they run, yeah, they run like a really, really, really tight ship with the cities and with the neighbors. So it's kind of like everything needs to be down to the minute, pretty much. And you know, otherwise you have to pay a hefty fine. So as much as we want to hear Madonna talk about astrology, sometimes you gotta wrap it up. So,
Yeah, that's true. And the thing is when you have someone like Madonna, who's definitely um, been around a long time and has a lot of fans.
yeah,
Sometimes they kind of get the moment, they feel really good, and you know, of course, there's always that someone working in the audience, probably a stagehand that has okay, send it out.
yeah, yeah,
At
yeah.
least, at least it's not like the awards where you start hearing the music.
Oh yeah, I know. And I started to feel anxious because I'm like, at what point are they going to cut Madonna off? Or if you're Sabrina, like, there's no way I'm ever going to tell Madonna to like, you know, wrap it up. But so it's like, are you just standing on stage for like 30 minutes or, you know, so but they went into the songs, and it's just so cool to see. I feel like we're really in a moment with music where like the younger people are kind of paying homage, and then the older people are like responding too. But it's crazy now that the older people are like 40s and 50s, you know.
Mhm. That's true. That's true. And the thing is too, is that it's good to see the younger generations appreciate the older generations, because if you really listen closely, there's a lot of music out there that are either spin-offs or remakes of older songs.
Absolutely. Totally.
So, yeah, that was really good. I hate I missed that because, man, the way you described it sounded really nice.
You can still, I'll send you a TikTok link to it, but then if anyone's looking, I think, I mean, at some point, I'm sure the video of it, but if people just Google um, like Madonna, Vogue, Coachella, like that, because as much as like we'll probably see a link to their performance, but people really need to see the moment that Madonna, like that the song, Sabrina's song went into Madonna coming up from the risers, like, and everything was flawless. I feel like however they rehearsed that happening, the dancers and like the lighting, and it's just like it's unbelievable the amount of talent of everyone that puts stuff like that on.
Nice. Yeah, that would definitely be nice to see. Well, talking about talent, and this is going back into aviation again, but Pilots have been making animal sounds over the radio. And while people are listening, yes, this is a real story. Two pilots appeared to make animal noises while communicating with each other near Reagan International Airport. Pilots flying in the vicinity of the U.S. Capitol were recently caught meowing like cats at each
Oh.
other and over the radios. That was hilarious. Kind of crazy. They showed they played the tape as they were doing it, and you could hear them go meow meow, and then one person goes woof 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 woof, and you can hear the tower kind of telling them to stop doing this. They can't tell who's doing it because obviously with all the air traffic that you have, there's no way to identify them unless someone says something to say who they are. But wow, what do you think about this, Meryl?
You know what? Usually, I know in the past I've talked about how I don't like any extra foolery on planes. I'm already anxious enough, I don't want to. But I like this because this means that like the pilots are chill and playful and calm enough to like be doing that, and it's like they don't have to be so serious all the time. So as long as the plane is flying and we're like in the nice air, doing what we're supposed to, I think it's cute, and I feel like professional people are allowed to have a moment to like have fun or blow off steam. If they're doing it because they're like drunk or just blindfolded or something, no thank you. But to me that's silly, and it's like why wouldn't you be a little bit playful if you're talking into like a intercom all day and just to me it's like that's silly and fun.
So you wouldn't freak out if you're in an airplane, all of a sudden you hear,
I would not freak out. No, I think that's so silly. And I love, honestly, as an anxious flyer, I love when pilots and the airline attendants have a little fun because it actually helps my anxiety a lot because it like shows, okay, they're playful, so we're not in like a crisis right now.
that's true. That's true. And that is pretty funny. The tower was not happy, but hey, you know what? Like you say, they were having a little fun, and the passengers didn't seem to mind it. So what would you
Exactly.
like?
That's why I love flying Southwest when I can because they're just like to me they're the least serious when you're on board, and I feel like they play games and do stuff, and I'm like why not, if everything, if all the safety things have already happened and we're in the air, whatever, I'm happy to hear some growls and meows.
There you go. Hey, maybe there'll be a cat or a dog meow coming one day near you in your next flight, huh?
Exactly, but imagine too if you're like flying with your dog or your cat and it just sets off a whole chorus of like animals on the plane.
Actually, I didn't even think about that, but you're right.
Yeah, or like babies crying or something. I don't know. Well, my next one, oh my gosh, I've been obsessed with this story. Uh, so Nike had to remove a controversial sign at the Boston Marathon after major backlash. They had a slogan up outside their flagship location saying, "Runners welcome, walkers tolerated," which did not bode very well for the internet. People, now this new term pace shaming, which like I officially have a headache from the internet, but like, they said that you're not being inclusive to runners. Nike removed the sign and issued an apology. I understand what they were doing. They're trying to be cheeky, and it's like a little sassy thing, like runners, we're here for you, walkers. Obviously they don't mean that. They're being cheeky and sarcastic, but someone had a good point where like, wasn't your slogan just do it, trying to encourage everyone to do it? And I'm not as upset. Like, of course, I don't care about. I really hate like cancel culture and this kind of stuff. Like this doesn't actually affect me or like move my needle. But in terms of just stupid ad campaigns and talking about things that like haven't really been thought through as well, I feel like there could have been a million other things of welcoming both runners and walkers. And also, a lot of people like I'd be someone that I would walk the Boston Marathon, or I would walk a 5K just because to me there's more walkers out there than there are runners of people that are interested in stuff. So you're already kind of like pissing off like a major audience, a target, a whole demographic basically to me.
No, I agree with you. I mean, like for me personally, um, if I did dare to do a 5K or anything like that, it would be walking. I would
Me
not be
too.
running.
Me
Um,
too.
and again, nothing wrong with it. Hey, there's a lot of runners out there. I like walking. I'll even walk fast. I have no problem with that, but I'm not a runner at all. Absolutely not. And here's the other thing too. There are some people that physically can't run because it's bad on their knees. So they have to walk.
Exactly.
So
Yes, and yeah, and this wouldn't like if you saw this sign, like I wouldn't uh boycott Nikes, or this wouldn't like emotionally harm me in any way or anything. But it's just to me, it's a stupid advertising, and Nike has done such a good job of their slogan, "Just do it," and their branding that it's like, why not just continue like. Just do it, walkers and runners. Like you can do, just do whatever you're trying to do today, and you got this kind of thing.
I'm actually impressed that Nike addressed it so fast. That tells you they really pay attention to their marketing and their advertising very closely.
Exactly. I was trying to think like who do I think came up with this campaign? Was it a boomer? Was it like a young Gen Z person? I don't know. Uh was it AI? Like I don't really know what type of like demographic would come up with this.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on lrodtvnetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on lrodtvnetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to lrodtvnetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.
My guess would be a younger demographic. I could be wrong, but that's my guess.
Yeah. See, that's funny. That's funny. My guess would almost be like a woman my age, because this definitely seems like like, and I'm like, shut up. So, because I almost feel like the younger people would almost be more like everyone welcome,
Mm,
whatever. So interesting.
very, very interesting. Very interesting, but at least they took care of it right away, right?
They took care of it right away, and that's a good thing for another shoe or athletic company to swoop right in and to be like, everyone's welcome, we love you, walkers, type of thing.
Very, very true. Well, my last one I think is a good one. So, as it has been announced, tariffs have begun today, and retailers are due big paydays. So companies paid more than $160 billion, billion with a B, in tariffs, which the Supreme Court has ruled to be illegal in February. So to kind of give you a quick snapshot, um, businesses can apply through online portals. The Supreme Court has ruled $166 billion in tariffs to be illegal. 56,000 businesses have already signed up for refunds on $127 billion. Processing is going to take at least 60 to 90 days. Now, here's the part that consumers are not going to like. Tariff refund, let me see, individual consumers cannot apply. So this is for
Oh
companies.
man.
So in other words, it's whoever paid directly into it, which would be companies. Now,
Oh,
on
okay.
the positive side, some companies said that they'll start passing on refunds to consumers. Um, Reportedly, FedEx and Costco Wholesale has said that they would pass on refunds or maybe even reduce pricing as a result of the refunds that they get back for tariffs. Now, it's too early to know whether other companies will do it, but the most important thing is that, yes, I think they should pass it on to customers, but they legally don't have to. What do you
Oh
think about this,
man.
Mel?
I think they're going to pass it on to us with prices, but then there'll be like some other inflation. When like a store says like on sale, but then you look and it's been like a few months ago, it was just marked like three times higher, so it's just down from the original. So as a consumer and individual, I don't know if we're going to see this payday, but I think this is great for businesses and hopefully it helps like alleviate some of their cost and especially the smaller places that are suffering, whether it's like ordering coffee or, hot dog buns or whatever, just things that are like that they now have to charge more for. So I think it's a good thing.
That's true. Now, let me ask you this, Meryl. As a consumer, do you think companies should pass the savings of the rebates back to the customers?
Um, I don't know. Yeah, yeah, I do think so, but I think only if they can sustain it for a while, because I feel like having a month where things are lower might just confuse us all again, and then it might feel tough to have it then go back up. Um, but yeah, I also think that maybe they could also, if they're paying their employees lower, I would almost rather see like employees get more of a livable wage than like us doing that.
That is so true. That is so true. I would love to see the companies take that money. First, invest in the people that supported your business through these tariffs. So, in other words, your customers, do something nice for them, but don't leave out the employees. The employees that stuck it through,
Mm-hmm.
as things get tighter. They're on the front lines getting the complaints when the prices go up. So, yes, definitely do something for your employees. Um, I hope I'm wrong, but I don't think most businesses are going to pass it down. I think they're probably going to pocket that or maybe reinvest it into their business. I hope,
Exactly.
I really hope I'm wrong, but I think realistically that's what's going to happen.
Me too. And I don't expect like CVS or like Walmart to do this, but people in the next lower tier, it'd be so nice if they like invested more in local people, whether that's trying to get, locally made honey if they're like a restaurant or just I'd almost rather see that than like save 50 cents for me or whatever, because I just think like I feel like helping the community or maybe like sponsoring a park and cleaning it up or something would be a lot like more sustainable for helping us.
I agree. I agree.
Well, okay, you're gonna love my last one. This is really, really funny. Uh, a reality star Brandy Glanville ended up in the ER with garlic stuck in her ear after taking medical advice from social media. So, I don't know if you know who Brandy Glanville is, but she was on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's an alum. She caught a cold from her son Jake, and basically she looked up remedies online and decided to try putting a garlic clove in her ear to help with congestion. However, she ultimately ended up at the emergency room after it got stuck. um Now this is ridiculous because like honestly garlic is definitely helpful when you take it through your mouth, like how the one place you're supposed to put garlic in your body. But and it like basically if you have the flu it's wonderful. I mean it tastes horrible, but if you like chop up garlic, honey, even like cayenne, like it's kind of a terrible shot to take, but it's an old, everyone knows this, it's an old whatever tale, but it kind of works and it helps clear the system. um I don't think you should be putting it in your ear. And to me, I don't think you should put like anything foreign in your ear. And you're not even supposed to use Q-tips because that's supposed to like hurt your eardrum. So the moral of the story is do not stick stuff in your ear. And even like, I mean, this is way too much information, but like trying to get earwax out naturally and stuff, I always just tell people to go to like an actual doctor. I don't
It's
know why
true.
I said I always tell people, like everyone's asking me for their their earwax advice. But like I don't know why, but it actually come. I find myself telling people to do that like more than once a month. So I don't know why I'm talking so much with people about their earwax, but
I'm like, I guess for me, um, when I see something saying put food in my ear, my antennas will go up like, nah, I'm not doing this.
Mhm. And it's like garlic is beautiful and garlic is a wonderful thing, but like yeah, why
I
would you
I like
think?
garlic too to eat.
Yeah, to
Not
eat.
put in my ears or anything like that.
Exactly. And people have to be so careful, even like especially when you're clearing your sinuses, like those there's, a neti pot or anything basically that you're sticking and irrigating water up your nose. Like if you have to really be careful that you're using the right type of water. Otherwise it could have a bacteria and like you can really make things worse. Now, during the pandemic, I will admit, I slept one night with onions on my feet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I put onions in my socks and I slept with them because I heard it was like a really good wives' tale, and I was definitely going through like I went through like crazy time during COVID, but like I was just trying everything. But, like I knew enough to not put onions in my ears, but I did sleep with them on my feet. But then I got freaked out when a friend told me, "Well, what if like if they're not organic onions, maybe they have bacteria that now are like going through your feet and your bloodstream." And so it was one night, and I stopped it quick.
Gotta ask, did it work?
I mean, I didn't, I definitely, I ended up like luckily not getting anything bad. It was during the time that we like everyone left and right was just getting COVID and we didn't really have a shot yet. And I was just like very crazy about like supplements and all that stuff. But I mean, it worked in the way that I luckily did not get it, but it's supposed to like draw toxins out of your bloodstream. But I think once again, it's just a weird idea to like have that going. Looking back now, I would not do that again.
Mm, okay. Okay.
I
Thing.
feel like we all went a little crazy during the pandemic of like trying our own different weird health remedies, probably.
That's true. That's true. I remember I grew my beard out for the first time because I really can't grow a beard, but for whatever reason during the pandemic, I look like a black grizzly Adams. It was tough, you know.
Exactly. Everyone went through their own journeys that when we could finally like meet up again, or I would go outside and like hang out with friends, it felt like we were all coming out of some weird shaker where I'm like, I just slept with onions in my feet last night. Like, how about you? So yeah, I'm surprised Brandy knew this because also this is someone that like she's rich, and I feel like if I had a cold, I would just immediately go to the best like nutritionist. I would order everything I want off of Uber Eats. Like if you're rich, you could order the best like smoothies and lemon water and stuff. So
Cool, cool. Well, talk about cool things coming up. Meryl, what do you have coming up?
ah, well, I have a fun show on Wednesday. If this is coming out before Wednesday, it's in Santa Monica at a place called the West Side Comedy Club, and it's really fun. So Wednesday, West Side Comedy Club.
Perfect. And if you're in the area, definitely go out and support Meryl. She would love to see you.
Yes, please.
Well, everyone, this was a very, very fun episode. Learned a lot. Please don't put garlic in your ears.
Exactly. Keep everything out of your orifices.
Well, please continue to support us by, going to lrodtvnetwork.com where you can watch this, as well as other talk shows and podcasts and other shows we have, like a documentary and a movie. Also, if you prefer to listen to us, we're on all the major podcast stations. I'm Lawrence Elrod.
And I'm Meryl Climo.
Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
This documentary about overcoming life's darkest moments isn't on Netflix, and that's exactly why you need to watch it. Look, I've been through my share of tough times, and I'm tired of watching feel-good fluff that barely scratches the surface. My Silver Lining documentary on lrodthenetwork.com is different. It's raw, real, and completely transformative. This isn't some glossy production designed to make you feel better for 30 minutes. It digs deep into what it actually takes to turn your pain into purpose. The storytelling is so powerful that mainstream platforms wouldn't touch it. But that's their loss and your gain. You get exclusive access to stories that will genuinely shift your perspective on adversity. I watched it 3 times because each viewing revealed something new about resilience. The convenience of streaming it on lrodthenetwork.com means you can pause, rewind, and really absorb these life-changing insights. Don't settle for surface-level inspiration when you can access something that actually moves the needle. Head to lrodthenetwork.com right now and discover the documentary everyone's missing.